be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. We'll be seeing you on that foreign show. We'll be seeing you. We'll be seeing you every Friday here at TFS. That foreign show. the foreign show. We'll be seeing you.
ADR Networks presenta Las opiniones expresadas en este programa son responsabilidad exclusiva de quienes las emiten y no representan necesariamente el pensamiento o alguna posición oficial de este medio de comunicación.
ADR Networks presenta.
This is Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isa Crouch.
And this is...
Foreign show. On the foreign show.
What it do, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people everywhere? Welcome to That Foreign Show. My name is Isaac Rakesh, and welcome. On today's Insider, before we get to that, I gotta just say this: That Foreign Show. We're really happy that you're joining us here on ADR Networks, activating your senses. Alright, let's kick things off on That Insider. Today we have a very special announcement. We have a concert that we want to talk to you guys about, right? And it's a Concierto de Rock by the one and only Gary Lucas. Yeah, let's put the poster up right there. That Insider segment. Yeah, that Insider segment, for those of you who are just joining us, it's a special segment where we choose the best of the best things to watch, eat, participate in, our recommendations, our stamp of approval, That Foreign Show tick of approval for you guys to go and check out, right? So we you know, sometimes we do restaurants, sometimes we do for those of you that don't know, where you... Alright, we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulty right there. Gary Lucas, Concierto de Rock. That's happening today at 7 p.m. It's happening at the Biblioteca Benjamin Franklin. Alright, Liverpool 31, Colonia Juarez, CDMX. It's brought to you by American Spaces. Check it out, y'all. Gary Lucas now. He has to date released more than 50 albums, alright? Either as a solo artist or as a band leader in a variety of genres. Touring internationally. Okay? Now, I hope you guys are able to hear me. Sorry for that disconnection earlier. Now, Gary Lucas has collaborated with Leonard Bernstein, Jeff Buckley, John Cale, Nick Cave, David Johansen, Lou Reed. Legends. Now this is promising to be a fantastic concert, so come on down and check it out, right? It's happening today at 7 p.m. Okay, now Gary Lucas, just to give you guys a bit more info, right? He's been a member of Captain Beefheart's band, right? Which he formed, and he's also formed the band Gods and Monsters. That one was formed in 1989, so go check it out. The list here is just too long, right? To give, I can give you more names. You know, we have Fred Schneider, Richard Barone, John Sebastian, Adrian Sherwood, Patti Smith, y'all. These are some of the people that the legendary Gary Lucas has worked with. All right, so now I've seen him live. I've seen him, we've booked him in the studio, and amazing, all right, what he can do on the guitar. So just go check it out and prepare to be blown away at the Concierto de Rock, happening today at 7 p.m. Alright, so it's our guest backstage. On today's show, we want to delve, alright, into the heart of Mexico's drinking culture. Now before we get to that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people, Feliz Dia de Independencia, right? That happened last weekend on the 15th. Happy 15th, everybody! Best of wishes from us, that foreign show, to all our Mexican friends and family, as well as our non-Mexican friends and family. And I'm sure you guys had a ball of a time over the weekend, partying it up on September 15. Okay, our guest is not yet backstage, so I'm just gonna continue. For those of you that don't know, September 15 is such a thing that people even just refer to it as 15. They say 15. Hey, what are you doing on the 15th? And when people say what are you doing on the 15th, we know what they're talking about. It's the 15th of September. It is an excuse. It is a great reason even to just party with your friends and family, and to kind of just celebrate life. Now, if you were in town on the 15th or last weekend, you would have noticed the festive vibes all around the city, everywhere you go. Moving around was kind of tough, Like we headed to a couple of clubs. We were in a friend's place, just having barbecue dinner with a whole bunch of friends. Big shout out to Ben and the family, right? After that, we headed to one club that was closed, unexpectedly. Then we moved to another club. Just fantastic vibes all around, fireworks all over the place, And amid the controversy that's going on right now with the political stuff and everything, in spite of that, people were just, out and about, having a great time, And so we thought it would be fitting, this episode, to kind of talk a bit about Mexico's love affair with partying, and also Mexico's drinking culture, right? We're going to talk to our guest Greg Lim from the Philippines, right? So we're just waiting for him to come on backstage, and we will begin the talk. We're going to talk to him actually this episode, and we're going to dive into the heart, as I said, about Mexico's drinking culture, and also the social scene, right? The local interactions, cuisine, and other delightful surprises that define the nightlife in this vibrant country. This country is definitely vibrant. The city is off the chain, right? And I want to invite you guys to let us know also what you guys think, what you guys did over the weekend. This video is live right now. It's going to go up on all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and everything. And we're going to be sharing it everywhere. When you see clips of this video, let us know what you think about Mexico's drinking culture, right? How does it compare to the drinking cultures of other countries, maybe where you're from? Well, where I'm from, Singapore, we do have a crazy vibrant party scene as well, and the drinking scene over there is pretty wild. It's pretty wild, We're one of those countries where you can actually walk down the road with a can of beer open, drinking it in public, and it's cool. You're not going to get in trouble with the cops. Pretty similar to a lot of the other Asian countries like Thailand and stuff. Over here it's a different kind of vibe. You can't do that. You got to do it privately. You got to do it in clubs, or you got to do it in your home. That kind of vibe. However, the energy level is there. The energy level is there. People love to have a good time. And if you're an entertainer, or if you're an artist, we take advantage of this vibe. For us, being a part of our group, performing, doing live shows during this period is super fun, or just jamming. All right. So we have Greg Lim backstage right now. Send him through. Hey, brother, how are you, Mr. Greg Lim?
I'm doing well, man.
Welcome to the show, brother. Welcome to the show.
Hey, appreciate it. No, thanks for having me.
Yes. No, let's get into it, man. So this is That Foreign Show, and we talk to foreigners about interesting things they want to share. And let's start things off with your story. Why don't you tell the people a bit about what it is that you do, and what are you doing here in this beautiful city?
Yeah. Hey, what's up? First of all, like I said, I'm super happy for this opportunity. I'm new to the Ciudad de Mexico scene, and I'm Greg, and I just moved here 4 months ago, and moved here in mid-May, where was super hot, but now I can't believe it's summer and I'm wearing, a jacket in the morning.
Yo, tell me about him.
Yeah, I heard you're from Singapore, so this is definitely a better weather than yeah. And likewise for me, I'm from the Philippines. It's very humid over there, and I've been living in Taiwan and Shanghai for over 15 years, and I just moved here recently, so there's a big move for me. It's my first time working outside of the Asia Pacific zone, and I've been working in the alcohol beer industry specifically for over 9 years now, and it's very interesting because that's what we're going to talk about today. Because drinking in most countries, of course, except through a lot of countries where religion prohibits drinking, drinking is very, very close to the culture and to the people and to how people socialize, etc., etc. And I just can't wait to share a little bit of my thoughts. But I'd like to get to know you a little bit more. I'm sorry, what's your Billy, if I'm not mistaken?
Billy? What do you mean? What is
Sorry,
that?
what's your name? Is it?
My name?
Yeah.
I'm Isaac.
Oh, Isaac, my bad.
Yes.
Bad.
Yeah, no worries.
I've been on calls the whole day since 8 a.m. And most Fridays I do have the Viernes Chilango. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Okay.
But,
So you kind of...
no, this is my last call of the day, but I'm saving the best for last, so I'm looking
Perfect, man.
Yeah.
Yo, why don't you tell us a bit about these countries that you mentioned, right? Let's start off with the Philippines, right? That's where you're from, right?
Yeah.
What is the drinking culture like over there? What's people's relationship with alcohol or beer?
So very interesting. So Philippines, to start off, is for people who might not know, it's in Southeast Asia, and it's one of the. I always tell my Mexican friends, "Como primo," we're like cousins, but not a lot of Mexican people know, and they always like, "No, Manny Pacquiao is."
Yeah.
But because we were once a colony of the Spanish, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're the only country in Asia that's been colonized by the Spaniards for over 300 years.
Yes, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, and so you hear, like, I'm Filipino Chinese, so you see Greg Lim, but 99% of the people in the Philippines is like Alex Rodriguez, or like, Bartolome, and then
Hernandez, yeah.
Hernandez or something, and Fernandez and all that, and then so there's a lot of resemblance to the Mexican culture. Family is big, friends are big, and And if we're talking about alcohol specifically, the rum is super big. Rum is super big in the Philippines.
Okay.
And beer. So, but when it gets to like the high-end parties, surprisingly, tequila is the choice of drinks.
Tequila, okay.
Not single malt. And it's scary. It's scary.
High-grade tequila we're talking about here.
Sorry, what?
High-grade tequila, then.
High grade, but no, the scary part is, how the biggest difference is, for example, like in the Philippines, when you drink tequila, you do shots, or like everywhere in the world, you do shots. You do, you just get a bottle and pour it on in your friend's mouth. But here in Mexico, I realize it's so different. I don't know if you've noticed that, because people, tequila and mezcal, they sip rather than shots.
Yeah, that's right, and it's even done after food, after lunch. Everyone has a shot glass of mezcal, and you take a sip, and you kind of tell the same stories about how it's actually really good for your stomach, and everyone says that, and but it's true. It kind of helps you digest. That's my feeling with the mezcal.
Yeah, and I do enjoy. I like mezcal and tequila. I've been getting a little bit more into it here in Mexico, and I have a new appreciation to it. Because, like for example, there's a lot of mezcal tasting places here in Ciudad de Mexico. Like, there's this place called Salon de Agave in Roma. Shout out to the team there. They've been very nice, and they gave my friends and I mezcal tasting session afternoon.
Okay.
I haven't. This was the first time I've tasted notes of butter in mezcal.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's
Let's just
pretty profound, I would say.
let's get the details of the place after the show from you, and
Yeah, for sure. We should go.
we'll send some guys down to
Yeah.
check it out. Yeah, we should go. Yeah, we should go,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, and so this notes of butter. Wow, that's interesting. I'm gonna have to try that. I'm gonna want to try that. Another interesting thing that we've noticed here also, people actually drink mezcal like in the clubs as a kind of a drink that they mix into cocktails and they drink at tables, almost like bourbon or whiskey. And
Indeed.
that's one thing that we see in the clubs here. Yeah.
But in the Philippines,
So let me ask you this, bro. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Yeah,
no,
in the
I
Philippines,
we shots. We do shots
shots.
like-
Okay.
for tequila, just like in Singapore, in the US. Shots,
Mhm.
lime, then salt.
One thing about the Philippines that we notice is how they're really warm as a culture, right? And
Right.
they're, like you mentioned, they're very family orientated and their whole social thing. People like to sing and everything. So is alcohol like a big part of that whole thing when people come together? When they as
Oh,
a
yeah.
family, yeah.
Yeah, because like family, friends, there's always a karaoke happening somewhere. There's
Right.
always somebody with a guitar. There's always somebody with a stereo, and there's always beer as well. And it's funny because here in Mexico you have those kawamons, like big
Yeah.
bottles.
Yep.
And I've been to so many countries, and I rarely see big bottles like those big, like
That
1
size.
But we have that in the Philippines as well. So it's very unique.
Interesting.
It is very
Interesting.
unique. But the difference is here I realize that here in Mexico people don't share the big bottle. They drink it for themselves.
Yes, and rarely. Sometimes they just drink it like that, without a cup or something. Everyone gets their own. In fact, because we do shows, we organize shows sometimes, and certain kind of in certain, I would say, lineups or certain areas that we play, like for example with other bands and stuff. How they actually do the drink selling is you come in, all right. So you can buy your spirits, right? You can buy your tequila and all that, and then beer is just a kawama, just one bottle like that. So everyone gets their own, everyone gets their own, and it's it's vibes, man.
No,
Vibes, yeah.
It is.
And what about the other places you mentioned, like Taiwan, for example? Our impression, being Singaporean, they like to party. The nightlife is happening and stuff, but a little bit more reserved. Would you say,
Compared to
or the Philippines?
Sure.
Mm.
No, yeah. Compared to everything is a spectrum, right? Compared to the Philippines, definitely Taiwanese are a little bit more reserved, but Taiwanese people they're very liberated as well in partying. I think they drink more than the Filipinos. I
Oh,
think,
wow, okay.
especially like whiskey. So there's a few places that I don't want to go pound for pound with people when it comes to drinking.
All right.
Taiwan, China, Singapore.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
y'all can drink, especially I think, and I could be wrong, but how in Chinese culture, the Chinese Singaporeans and the Taiwanese and the Chinese mainlanders, where drinking is like a respect. If I drink one, you got to drink one.
Yes.
If I drink one, you don't drink one, you're not a brother.
You're not a brother, and we're not playing the sport right. It's a sport, right? With the Chinese especially.
Scary, man.
Yeah, tell us what happened. What made you come to that conclusion?
No, obviously, like I said, I've been in the alcohol industry 9 years, and my third month, I think, second month or third month, I was in Taiwan. You have a lot of business drinking. They push you. I'm the youngest, and even if I've been working in the alcohol industry, I don't have a high tolerance for alcohol, huh? But people really like me, so they're like, let's drink. They're not like, they don't want you to get drunk. They want to have fun with you. So
Right.
it was great. But when you go a little bit overboard, go like, oh, can I really do this, or can I really do this as a living? And I learned from that, which is, hey, people just want to have fun with you. So don't like go pound for pound. If you can't drink, people would understand. That's the most important thing. At least in the company that I've been in, and people I'm around with, they when I tell them I can't drink anymore, they really like, oh, it's okay, drink some water, drink some water.
Okay.
But because I was more aware, and for some people, they go overboard and they sometimes make a fool of themselves, and it's also bad for your health if you drink too much. Everything should be consumed responsibly. So like I said, if when it comes to business meetings, because everyone's celebrating, after a nice meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
I like the drinking culture here in Mexico, where it's a bit more chill. You have business lunch, you get one beer, and then you have a carajillo, and then you move to spirits later, but nobody's really like pushing you to drink. Maybe it's a generation thing as well. I'm not sure, but I do see that in places like Eastern Asia, like China, Taiwan, Singapore. I think people drink a lot more in general when it comes to business meetings.
Yes, and you're right, bro. And also as a group, when the group gets together, the group dynamic, and there's even a bit of a, like I said, a sport kind of thing. So hey, let's do it in a competition, and let's just keep going.
Not a brother.
Yeah. And then I know we just had one, but here's another one, and then they're almost kind of testing you in a way also, let's get some tips from you, bro. I mean, you've been in this industry for about 9 years, so I'm sure you've seen everything, And how do you mentioned earlier that if you feel like you're reaching a limit, you would just tell the party that you're with that, hey, I can't drink anymore. Or what are the tips or tricks you have to kind of navigate that kind of social situation?
No, there's always pre, during, and post, right? In every sport.
Okay.
In every sport, there's always pre, during, and post. Pre, make sure you have a little bit of food in you. Make sure. And you have a little bit of rest in you. If you know that tonight's going to be a little bit, we're going to go all-nighter or whatnot, make sure you rest a little bit, take a nap, make sure you have enough sleep, and then make sure you get enough food, right? Next is during, make sure you hydrate. Because alcohol, just like coffee or other stuff, it's diuretic. It basically, makes you dehydrated.
Makes you want to go to the toilet, right? Basically.
Yeah. No, not necessarily. No, it actually, yes, but also it makes you dehydrated. So like beer, for example, is 94% water, but you feel dehydrated after drinking a lot of alcohol. So you need to hydrate with water so that you balance it out. And then another tip is beware of mixing too many drinks, especially when you're balling and champagne comes out. Champagne is
the killer.
Champagne's the traitor. You don't know until it stabs you in the back and you're done. So I normally don't. If I mix drinks, maybe beer and one more. That's it. I when champagne comes out, I'm out. I'm not because I know it's gonna mess me up, and then the next day will be a little tough. And just know your limits. Some people it might be 3 beers, some people might be 1 beer, some people might be a couple of beers and a couple of shots. You really gotta know your limits, and most importantly, make sure that your belongings and your phones and your how your way back. Like I said, I've seen everything, man. I've seen everything that to the point that people forget their password to their homes. And I had to, but I'm very responsible. I had to help out my friends to to get into their home. But yeah, during is very important. Don't get carried away. It's fun, but you got to be responsible as well. And yeah, post, just hydrate. Post with drink your Gatorade, your electrolytes, and then you're gonna have a better. And you're welcome for that tip. It helps you.
Yeah.
A fresh morning. Yeah.
That pre-tip is something that people tend to forget. That to kind of just have a meal beforehand, so that you.
Yeah.
And there are quite a few kind of I don't know, old wives' tales or something. Like people say, if you have white bread, starchy kind of stuff. Fill your stomach up with that kind of spongy material, and then when you drink, you can go, all this kind of stuff.
Yogurt actually helps.
Oh yeah, yogurt. Okay.
I don't know why, but I think it's a probiotic thing, but it does help for me. And I've seen it somewhere as well. Yeah. No, another pro tip. It's funny because one of my bosses do this. One of my Singaporean bosses do this a lot. Don't get caught, but this is a pro tip from him. He always just like, oh, somebody's calling me. I got a business call from the sales of whoever. He goes out, but nobody's calling him.
Right. Okay.
Resting. Yeah. That was
okay.
Funny. Everybody has their own way of doing stuff, but in the end, the main purpose is enjoy responsibly.
Yes, definitely, and kind of follow the rules, right? Like drinking and driving, and things like that. Kind of stay away from that kind of thing, right? Yeah. And how did you actually get into this industry? Was it something that you intended to? How did that happen?
Yeah. So for me, it was quite. I was in business school, and in business school you target big companies, right? And you have the investment banks, you have the consulting, but I wanted to be in the consumer goods business. So I was in a couple of companies that were, selling diapers, selling makeup, cosmetics, and all that. And then I realized that this is not for me. And what do I like the most? I like sports and I like beer. I like sports and I like beer. And when you look at all the sports, all the companies out there, beer companies, from Heineken, where I'm working at, Budweiser, Asahi, Carlsberg, everybody's into sports in some ways. I like these two, and obviously music as well, where there's a lot of music festival, and that's how I realized, this should be a fun industry, and I basically looked for opportunities, I wanted to do marketing, and the company that I'm working in really is one of the best, I would say, best marketing companies in the world. And the dream came true, and I'm living the dream for the last 9 years, and good so far. It's been good so far. So I think it's just a matter of, since I'm gonna work anyway, why not work in a job or work in an industry that I like, right?
Yeah, and that is interesting, or that has, beer has all these other things that kind of come along with it, right? Sports, like you mentioned, social stuff,
or like racing, F1, which is happening for this week. Yeah, a lot of beer brands are getting into it. I know driving and drinking is not the best example, but you have so many companies getting into the F1 scene, like, of course, Heineken, or like Peroni, Estrella Galicia. Everyone's trying to get into it because in the end, beer is about celebration, right? And what's the best way to celebrate after a race?
To celebrate the whole team thing, and it's really interesting. Can you give us, so you actually, your background is actually marketing then, like
right.
How would you say beer companies, or your company, kind of, how do they make themselves kind of stand out from, say, other products or other, how do they get into the, because you can't watch a sport event nowadays without a presence of a huge, so how would you say they approach that?
No, I think in the end it's just like any other company. There's no secret sauce or formula, but because every marketing driven, or every company, you got to know your users, your consumers, right? What are you into? What are you not into? What are your drivers? And in the end, once you know your consumer and you have deep understanding, it works. It works, yeah.
The reason I'm asking that also, because being an artist myself, a musician, Heineken Green Room Sessions come to mind, and that has been around for many years, even I would say almost a decade ago back in Singapore, and they had a partnership with I believe it was Zouk or one of the other clubs. And they were one of the first to do that, and that really kind of cemented that their name in everybody's mind, you know, like everyone's like, yeah, we know Heineken, yeah, for sure. And of course the green bottle, you know, that distinctive kind of green. And yeah, I thought it was really brilliant, you know, and to kind of even among the circle of musicians or DJs, you know, like hey, I'm playing the green room session. It's like it was a thing, you know. And
what type of artists do you play the guitar, or do you?
You know, we have a hip hop band, right? So I rap, I make beats, rap, and yeah.
I'm big into. I love hip hop, man.
Oh, okay. So you're gonna come out to the next show.
I haven't found a good hip hop bar here though. In Mexico City, I haven't found a good hip hop bar yet. Yeah.
Actually, there isn't one that is like specifically dedicated to hip hop, but they have it all over the place. You know, like certain bars, like you would have a reggae bar that's regularly a reggae bar, but then they have hip hop nights. You know, and some of the other places they typically play EDC, but then they have hip hop nights. You know.
And
let's organize something for sure, man.
Sure.
You know?
Are you big into like what West Coast hip hop, or like what kind of hip hop?
Yes, everything, man. We listen to everything. I study everything, and I'm a fan of the whole thing. You know, the whole thing. Yeah.
And what?
Like, yeah, the web.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about Diddy?
But
Diddy's all over the news, man.
You know, like there's ups and there's downs, right? You know, what can we say, man? What can we say, man?
One of the OGs are down.
Yeah, for sure. And yes. What about you, man? You fan of hip hop for?
Yeah. Hip hop, like what we say, like right, like alcohol and music has always been a good combination as well. And music here in Mexico. Because hip hop has always been my jam, at least in hip hop, pop, canto pop, mando pop. But hip hop is big for me because I grew up listening to, the OGs like Eminem, Tupac, Biggie, and it's funny because all these rap music videos, they talk a lot about drinking and all that. Like you see a little Hennessy.
Yeah.
You go like, oh, Bacardi, tequila, or there's a song about tequila or shots. It's very close to hip hop. Is very close to the drinking culture, actually.
Yeah, for sure. Ace of Spades, with Jay-Z and his champagne thing. And,
right.
Yeah, and even 50 Cent with his vitamin water, right?
Yeah. No, these guys are visionary. They know how to make money, man. They know how to make money.
Yeah, and kind of sell a product also, right? Like to people. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, hip hop is definitely a thing, and it's growing. It's growing everywhere now. Like for example, right now the hip hop scene in India is kind of like off the chain. Also, it's just kind of
wow.
Yeah, you get a lot of and styles wise, it's like kind of. Everything's kind of mixing together, so like that whole West Coast kind of sound and East kind of sound, it's kind of like now you have new kinds of things happening, like different kinds of artists like Black, there's this artist called Black who does a kind of laid back, almost kind of vocal, like a vocoder kind of effect, very laid back, and he's like his own genre, like yeah.
But what are your thoughts about? Sorry, what are your thoughts about the hip hop scene in Mexico? Is it growing? Is it small? Is it?
Yeah, it's growing, man. And post COVID, right? Post COVID, you have a lot of these hip hop events being organized. Us too, we organize a lot of these events also, and you see a sudden growth. Yeah, since COVID, you see a spike. And also even with the local scene, hip hop is a big thing. They have their own version, like reggaetonish kind of hip hop, trap, A lot of artists here are pretty big also. Yeah, so big shout out to all the guys who are doing it here. And also another thing, here in Mexico City, you have a lot of freestyle buskers. You find them everywhere. You find them even on the street, and then they'll just do a freestyle for you, and like you just give them some change, that kind of thing. And it's pretty, you see that everywhere. So there's this culture of kind of like, hey, if I'm into hip hop, I'm just gonna go in all the way. They're kind of like all in kind of vibe. And on the weekends, if you head down to Bears, the square in front of Bears Artists, you actually see groups of people, youngsters and stuff, and they're having freestyle battles, right there. Yeah, so it's pretty vibrant, man. The scene is pretty cool. So if you're a fan of hip hop, yeah, you're in the right place, man. Let me hook you up, man.
Let me know. Now I'm
yeah, for sure.
And I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate the culture so much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing. Let me ask you this: what, in your opinion, what would you say about the drinking culture here in Mexico, and how people actually kind of what the relationship with beer is, or alcohol?
Yeah. No, I love it. I love this probably would be one of my favorite places, countries to drink in, because it's tranquilo, chill.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you have the same experience, but it's relatively more chill compared to the stories I was sharing earlier. And I'm not saying that everyone's responsible wherever I drink it, but I think the point is, let's say you start with a lunch meeting, you drink a bottle of beer, then you move to carajillo, then maybe you move to other drinks, but it's super chill and nobody, you want to drink, you don't want to drink. So last week I was in there was this music festival, and I don't know if you've heard of Heineken Music, one of the DJ groups were in town. They were at I think Parque Bicentenario. Yeah. They had a set there, really cool, good vibes, and I just didn't want to drink. And my local friends were like, "Okay, you can have fun however you want." Yeah, yeah. Because for me as well, you get to an age where I'm 35 now, and when I drink a bit more, or when I drink a little bit, it somehow messes up with my sleeping habits as well. It's the age, man. And as much as I enjoy, enjoying a bottle of beer or alcohol, there are other options that you can still have fun with your friends and have a good night, right? You have non-alcoholic, stuff. So that's first. People are super chill. They don't really push you. However you want to have fun, more power to you. That's one. And then, but number two, what I see is everybody is it's a drinking beer at lunch, drinking beer for dinner, or alcohol. It's a very normal thing here. It's not like in Asia, where most of Asian countries, where at lunch no one really drinks.
Yeah.
Even dinner, you eat first maybe, and then you move to another place. You go to your karaoke, then you start drinking. So here, there's a lot of mixing, like lunch, like I said, and then the waiters, everybody's like, "Oh, ¿qué es tomar? What are you gonna drink?" Right? And then mimosa, some like carajillo, some would like, suero, which is also a great non-alcoholic refreshing
option. Right? Yeah.
I love suero, so I'm in love with suero, and drinking is a big culture here, regardless alcohol or non-alcohol. That's what I realized, and I don't know if you feel the same way, because you know how in other countries, sometimes, like in China, for example, when you order. Nobody would go like, "What do you want to drink?" Here in Mexico, after you order, "What do you want to drink?" Or sometimes the first question is, "What do you want to drink?" Yeah.
Right. I see. It's like more of the kind of social dynamic, right? Like, hey, we're together, and what do you want to drink? So.
Yeah.
And then almost like based on what you order, they're gonna make their orders too, right? Like, okay, we're having beer, we're having mezcal, Would you say there's a stigma in the Asian culture about, drinking in the afternoon, drinking at lunch?
Yeah, for sure. I think so. Of course, there's happy hour, but I think there's a tendency for Asian culture to be, to try to separate things. Drinking is drinking. I'm gonna have fun, and I don't know why, but there is that stigma. Maybe it's the Asian flush as well. You get caught easily. Oh, you just drank, huh? But I also don't know. But it's not in our. I think in a lot of Asian cultures where afternoon drinking or drinking pre-dinner is the thing. We don't have that.
It's a thing. Yeah.
Aperitif type for like Italian.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we don't have that culture, right? In Singapore, in fact, drinking in the afternoon or something, unless you're doing it probably at a company kind of event or something in a restaurant, then that's kind of okay. But then if you're doing it anywhere else, it's a bit like kind of like, oh, okay, a bit kind of frowned upon, That's kind of the vibe. Over here, it's kind of different, like you said, especially when people get together, they kind of like things are kind of like the other rules are kind of just suspended for that meeting. It's almost like, hey, we are together. It doesn't really matter what time it is or what. And it's not to say that they are looking for an excuse to drink. It's just more looking for an excuse to kind of have a social exchange.
Right.
And generally, alcohol does come into play with that. And I would have to say a lot of these people, like we have had some sponsors as well. Brand by the name of Convite Mezcal, who's been supporting our projects and stuff. A lot of these people who are in the industry of serving alcohol, be they bar owners or things like that, or if they have a brand that they're trying to promote, they are generally very, very social, very open, and very connected to the vibe of this city where people actually just want to come together and have a good time. We have, in fact, we had on the show quite a few episodes ago, owners of a brewery, right? And they are not actually Mexican, they are foreigners. And they also mentioned this, like how it's very different here. Like people tend to have this very open, very keyed into the social kind of thing going on here.
Right.
Yeah. And I want to ask you, Greg, have you walked around on the weekends at what we call like Tianguis, weekend markets over here?
Like the Pitos, the World, Lagunitas. Yeah, of course. Right?
And what? Yes, it's
right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think of those like that drinking thing that they do? Like they have those stalls, and you get those huge pints of beer, and they put
Chelada.
Stuff for yeah. Well, what do you think of that, man?
No, it just shows how, like I said, socializing is so part of the culture. Not only that, creativity of, anything Mexican food and drinks wise. There's always something going on. There's always some sauces. There's
some
always
sauce, yeah.
Nachos. It's never just bland, and I think that's what makes the Mexican culture quite unique, because they always add a little something into it, a little bit of their own touch, and I think it's pretty cool. And I think it's, while you're shopping, you get to chill a little bit, and then there's music happening. It's that's what I was telling my friend, because you see a lot of these tiangues in Bangkok, in Manila, in Ho Chi Minh as well. By the way, in the Philippines, it's also called tiangue. Same.
Okay, so Spanish kind of.
Yeah, when I went to Tepito, it reminded me a little bit of Manila. Minus the cheladas, minus the music, because like in Manila, it's just really like grind. Let's make money. Let's do stuff. Let's bargain. Yeah, but the culture of that is pretty close to the city, and everyone's grinding. Even here, everyone's trying to make some money, trying to make a living for themselves.
it's a bit more of an Asian vibe, right? That whole grinding, like grinding more than having a good time. And let's put it that way, right?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
How and for you, is it what do you think? Because here there's a lot of grinding and there's a lot of celebration, so that's a good thing. And people definitely know how to have a good fun, and people also work long hours. Mexico is one of the nations with the longest working hours in the world.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
For us, what we've kind of learned here is, interestingly enough, almost how to actually connect in a stronger way to being independent with the things or the projects that we're trying to do. So you find that a lot here. Like, for example, you find a lot of producers who are doing their own thing, a lot of DJs who are kind of doing their own thing, a lot of artists who are doing their own thing. They've taken control of how they're creating their art, how they're distributing their art, where they're making their art, and even how they're selling their art. So, and you see this on every level. You see this at street level. You even see this in galleries and gallery owners and things like that. So that one really struck us as artists, and we're kind of still drinking that in here. That's kind of why we're still here and still making art here, because we're connecting more and more with being independent and doing our thing our way, and really just committing fully to that.
Right.
In your case, what do you feel being here for the time that you've been here? What has it kind of taught you, and what kind of inspiration have you kind of drawn from Mexico City?
No, yeah, like I said, Mexico was never on my radar. Meaning, how, like, first of all, it's super far from Asia, right? And
Yeah.
but it's a great city, man. It's a great city for creatives, for independent artists, independent entrepreneurs, nomads. Even for like me, who's you can consider me a yappy, more on the white collar. It's a big market. You learn a lot here. It's competitive. So Mexico City, or Mexico in general, you get the best of both worlds, right? Like, it's the number 3 or number 4 biggest economy in Americas. So you have U.S., Brazil, Canada, maybe, and then you have. But globally, it's top 15 in the world. It's almost the same size as the Spanish economy. So there's a lot to be done here. The grinding culture, right? But at the same time, you go to the Roma Condesa, or you go to Coyoacán. You feel the art scene. You feel the independence. You feel the contrast of, being more. I wouldn't call it mainstream, but more like one is independent, while the other one is more conglomerate capitalism type.
Right.
You got a little bit of both. And actually, Mexico City, to be specific, it reminds me a bit of, like I said, every city is a spectrum, right? You got Shanghai, which is pretty advanced and perfect in some ways because everything's working pretty well. And you have Berlin, which is super artistic. Berlin, super grunge, super underground. I think Mexico is somewhere in the middle, where you have underground and you have places like Santa Fe, Polanco that also works, and Bangkok is a little bit in there as well. So Mexico City, I would say, is maybe one of the top 10 cities in the world. Yeah, in Americas for sure, one of the top cities in the world.
Yeah, for sure. The vibes here are really like what you mentioned. Yeah, it's kind of a bit of both sides,
Yeah, so you can work here, you can have fun, you can meet all sorts of people. You want to meet a CEO, or you want to meet an artist who's doing poetry.
Right.
And that there's not a conflict there, because you can be a CEO and you can also be a poet, right? So
no, for real. Yeah, for real. And Mexico kind of gives you that kind of a lot of opportunities or things happening for these two worlds to kind of meet, right?
and it's happening. It's happening. I do feel that it's happening, and there's a lot of changes. But I think I hope the change is not too fast as well, because I can feel from local Mexicans sometimes that, which is great, how you want to preserve the culture, right? And you want to be like, for me, I've been taking Spanish classes 4 hours a week just to really embed myself in the community, because I appreciate what they're doing. I appreciate that. Okay, we want to keep it more Mexican, keep it more not really making gentrification as fast as they can.
Right.
And it's gonna happen because that's how the world works. Globalization.
Yeah.
You cannot hide too long. It might not become as international as like a Singapore, but it will slowly gear towards that. I'm sure you agree with me on that.
Yes, for sure. Eventually, it's going to get there, for sure. Well, Greg, we're down to, I would say, right now, actually, we're down to maybe the last couple of minutes of the show. And I want to ask you this, and maybe we can close with this. In beer or alcohol, specifically beer, people tend to have a very personal relationship with their favorite brand, right? And different cities kind of have their favorite brands that they always mess with, or that they always choose, right? And Mexico, of course, you have your examples like that. What do you feel about this, or what do you feel about people's relationship with their favorite brands, and how do you, being an executive in that field, how do you navigate that? Because it sounds almost like an impossible task to get someone to choose a different brand,
Yeah.
right? Wouldn't you say?
No. In the end, you're right. I think it's in the end, it's all about celebration. Like I said, it's all about celebrations, enjoying responsibly, but everyone's taste is different as well. You can't have the same type of tacos every day. Today it might be, tropa. Sorry, it might be pastor. Tomorrow might be camaron. But it's taco. It's the same tortilla, just different sauces. Same goes for coffee. You can't drink Starbucks every day. You can, choose a little bit more. But I know what you're saying about beer. You have a special love for something. But in the end, I think I rarely, at least in this industry, there's only a few industries that you have loyalty right now. Maybe cell phone, like iPhone. Okay, there's loyalty. Once you go Mac, you never go back, right?
Right.
And
That's what the people say. Yeah.
yeah, once you're okay, maybe our generation, the youngsters, the Gen Zs don't say this anymore.
Yeah. Word. Yeah.
Mid-30s, yeah. Anyway, but or like maybe for cars, for some people, if you're a Benz driver, you're always going to be a Benz driver. But I think in the industry of alcohol, people appreciate everything, and that is my point of view. A carajillo, is super amazing, or a nice mezcal, or a nice beer, or a nice whichever. And so that's why all of the brands, all of the industry should be able to, put their best foot forward, not only promoting what they believe in, but of course promoting it. I think that's the most important thing, because I don't speak for my company for sure, but I speak for myself, which is, I keep on saying this all throughout, which is, in the end, it's all about enjoyment in the right way, right? Because without it, there's no. It's like again. Let's go back to the tacos. You can't have too much of anything. There's a specific sweet spot, and in the end, a Cameron taco or a surtito would still get the job done. Yeah, I hope that explained it a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. The options, right? Giving people the options, and
Right.
and yeah,
Enjoy it however you want it. Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Well, Greg, we've come to the end of the show, and it's been really interesting.
Yeah.
It's been really interesting, and yes, want to invite you to one of our shows. And actually, I just want to say this, like we have for that particular show that we are organizing. It's actually interesting because it's going to be alcohol-less. You know, it's an alcohol-less. Yeah. It's because it's an afternoon thing in a barber shop. It's a cipher, you know, a hip hop cipher. And it's interesting because when we were considering what brands to go for with regards to zero proof beer, you know, Heineken was one of the first ones that came to mind. Oh yeah. So it's quite.
No, we can talk when I'm working. Right now I'm not working, and right now this is personal, but we can chat a little bit. But I think I'd love to see how, you know, I needed to get a fresh cut as well, and we'll see how.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, Greg Lim. I'm Isaac Rakesh on ADR Networks, activating your senses, and catch you guys again soon. Peace.
Thank you, brother. Good job.
Thank you to all who joined us here on That Foreign Show. It's been awesome. I'm Celestine Angel.
And I'm Isaac Crouch, and we'll see you